I think leaving Walker on and that pace allows you to be more expansive going forward because you know he's going to outrun any Italian player in the back. But instead, it just was so compact.
I think if I'm Jack Grealish as well, I'm on the field, right? And I know Southgate said we worked on it in training. Listen, you can't replicate.
Right. No, impossible.
We all take training, penalties in training when we're left foot and we're right foot and we're big toe. It doesn't matter. The pressure's immense. But I'll even look at somebody like Grealish and say, if I'm a Grealish character and I know I'm a £100 million player potentially, talk of I'm going to Man City, super talent, experienced. I think I'm saying, listen, forget the 19-year-olds. I'm going to take that responsibility. I'm the talisman at Aston Villa, and I'm not blaming Jack Grealish, but I'm just looking at the alternatives to teenagers taking a penalty.
No, but that's completely insane. That's the most insane sentence that I ever heard in football. I choose the player who's going to kick the penalty. It never worked like that. It will never work like that.
Right. How do you feel?
Because if you don't feel...
Exactly.
How do you feel?
Right.
How can you
ready?
feel it? And how can you feel it as a coach who's going to shoot and score?
Yeah.
And we have the best example today of players who clearly weren't ready to accept the pressure of the penalty like that.
Right.
And I agree with you. A Jack Grealish would have been more ready than Saka or Sancho.
Yeah.
That's completely insane. It's already hard to find maybe 5 or 6 players who wants to do it. But if you pick on your own, say, you should, really? No, really, I'm not ready. No, you should.
Right.
But Frank, they must have talked about it. So those players must have known they were in some order if that was the case.
As Frank says, at the moment.
No, 100%. Absolutely. That's why it's impossible to do it that way.
Right.
Because you don't know what that moment is. You don't know if somebody's a little banged up or just a little... I wouldn't want to put that on a 19-year-old kid unless that 19-year-old kid is the super cocky Ronaldo or something who says, I'll
go
take
for
that.
it,
And like I say, you laugh about Grealish.
Sancho,
if you wear your socks like that, you better raise your hand up and say, I'm going to slam this in the top corner.
I always thought that was completely insane, again, to say, okay, you 120 minutes, you come in and you shoot the penalty, where they barely touch the ball, where, of course, they're not confident.
And that affects you.
Of course that affects you,
because when a player comes on as a substitute and he's a couple of bad touches, if you're doing a commentary, they say, he's not up to speed with the game yet, it'll take him time. I mean, the pressure on these boys must have been immense, but let's not get away from it. The penalties are a lottery to a certain extent. England were not good enough. Let's go back to Alexis's point about, and the point you made about the atmosphere, which was excellent, apart from before the game when we had quite a few
rowdy
idiots, as usual, trying to make a bad picture for every decent fan. We're going to try and watch the game. That's just ludicrous. The England fans, don't forget they booed England off the field after a draw against Scotland, Dan, right? But they were prepared to take what they were seeing in this game because of the desperation to finally get back over that line 50-odd years or whatever it is later. But trust me, when the dust settles here and the realisation is that they blew it and they did not play well and they were in the shell and they went against everything that this squad really is about because it's one of the best squads from midfield to front in terms of talent.
Yeah.
Loads of change. I know Phil Foden was injured, but you could still make so many changes. You know, we didn't see much of Sancho during the tournament. That's another head-scratcher that Southgate will have to answer. The areas we thought might be a problem, actually, when Maguire got fit and Pickford in goal, actually, Pickford today, again, made some great saves.
Fantastic.
Those positions weren't the Achilles heel. The Achilles heel was he couldn't get, for the most part, the right balance and the right message to these young lads about go and express yourself.
Yeah.
Go and express yourself on the big stage. And what we saw was a team playing with a little bit of fear today. And we saw an Italy team that gave a lesson in ball retention. We've played international football. You don't keep the ball, you're really going to struggle against good players.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.